get some more views on the changing securities landscape. And joining us to discuss those and give us some of those views are Graham McAvoy. He is the Global Head of Shared Services and Banking Operations at Morgan Stanley. Also with us is Andrew Rand, Managing Director and Head of Direct Security Services, EMEA, Deutsche Bank. Thanks very much, gentlemen, for joining us. We've spoken a lot so far over the last 2 or 3 days on the securities market infrastructure, the changes that we've been seeing. I'd just like to get initially your views on the recent developments from where you stand.
Well, I think our focus is always on ensuring that post-trade becomes as efficient and effective as possible. And regulations today, market demand today, user demand today is always pushing the market infrastructure to get to a point where we can get the most out of things like a single market in Europe, and we can get the most out of efficient and effective markets elsewhere around the world. Mm-hmm. So I think the main drive that we have as an organization is to keep on lobbying, keep on pushing, and keep on encouraging the other participants in the marketplace to work with us and for us to work with them to get to that sort of promised land.
Mm-hmm. I think the biggest driver is the regulatory environment. Mm-hmm. I think it's pushing the markets forward, but at the same time it's posing challenges because much of the energy and many of the resources of firms are now spent complying and developing solutions to respond to the regulatory environment, which sometimes takes away from investments in other products that otherwise we would be able to develop. Yeah.
Sure, and we've heard a lot about that from a variety of different people. What do you think the regulators are missing at the moment? Are there things that they should be doing to help you in your business that they're not doing?
I think regulators can benefit from taking account of things that work as well as things that don't work. And we've all seen...
Tell me what you mean by that.
Well, as I say, we've all seen over the course of the last several years, there have been market failures, there have been company failures, and as we were discussing earlier on today, market institutions have been able to leverage the risk management tools that they have and come through those unfortunate events unscathed, and it hasn't led to consequential failure. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes some of the rules that are being contemplated at the moment don't necessarily seem to take full account of the successful risk management practices that have happened in the past. Mm-hmm. And that tends to take up a lot of time, both in terms of lobbying, but also in terms of having to implement things that actually come to fruition.
Mm-hmm. I think the regulators can learn from the markets as much as the markets learn from the regulators. I think probably in the time that led up to the crisis in 2008, 2009, probably the regulators were behind the markets, and now the markets are trying to catch up to the regulators. Mm-hmm. And so I think there needs to be a two-way dialogue so that the regulators understand the markets and the instruments in the markets.
What needs to be done from your perspective? I mean, you're obviously dealing with clients every day. I mean, what are some of the things that you are hearing from clients that you need as a bank to put in place in order to make sure that, yes, you've cut costs, you're de-risking, you're dealing with compliance, you're dealing with all these regulations as well. I mean, it's definite, and on top of that, strategically grow the business.
Yeah, I think clients, be they institutional clients, be they other investment bodies who themselves have clients behind them, are searching for reduced costs in post-trade. They're searching for greater flexibility of access. They're looking for opportunities to leverage the collateral that they have in different parts of the world to bring flexibility in other parts of the world. So I think all the things that we are focused on as an industry are very much in response to client demand, as well as in response to our own demand to try and make our processes as efficient and effective as possible, whilst managing risk. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think clients are looking for solutions to the regulatory environment. I think there are opportunities for firms to create product out of the regulatory environment because the clients, I mean, there's so much regulation in place now, or that's coming in place, that we, as an industry, need to come to grips with. And I think that if firms are able to productize, for lack of better terms, the these initiatives or these regulations, it's a great opportunity for firms.
Give me some examples of what you mean by that.
AIFMD, for example, is creating strict liability for firms, for custodian banks in particular. One of the things we can do is to offer a account operator for our clients to get around the capital requirements to get around the capital requirement of using a global custodian bank. That's one. FATCA, the reporting requirements of some of these regulations, you can create product out of that for clients because they will have to deal with it.
You want to come back on some of the things that he said?
Well, the last one, I wasn't grimacing, I was reacting to his comment around FATCA, which is clearly one of the things that's taking up a huge amount of time across our space at the moment. Yes, products that can be offered by custodians that enable ourselves as participants in the market, and indeed our clients behind us, to make sense of those kind of regulatory changes in a way that reduces the burden, are ideal situations for them to be operating in.
Okay, well, thanks very much to both of you for joining us today. It's been a pleasure.